What is up, guys? Ivan here with getivan.com, and I'd like to welcome you to this video on setting up a preemptible VPS server, Windows VPS server in Google Cloud for Scrapebox. So something very specific for something very specific on a very specific platform, okay? So cloud.google.com, when you click on this left-hand side, you'll see all kinds of tabs for various Google Cloud facets, okay? The one you'll go to is Compute Engine and then VM Instances. And once you're here, you'll click Create Instance. Before I do that, though, make sure that on this dropdown, you create an independent project for this thing that we're describing here, this Windows VPS server for Scrapebox. And the reason is I like to segment my project, because if you do something and get charged more than you're expecting, it can be confusing when everything's bundled into a single project because of the way that Google Cloud billing works. And so it's easy to just segment various things into different projects, and that way you can keep a better eye on, how you're being charged. And if something weird's happening, you can just delete the entire project and then start over. Okay. So once you've got a project created and you've entered your billing stuff in and all that business, I think you get $300 of credit when you first get on Google Cloud. It's something like that. It's pretty significant I want to say it's for a year or some extended period of time. So getting started on this can be very, very cost effective. Okay, so when you go to create a new VM instance, you can name it whatever you want, Scrapebox VPS or whatever. I like to do my servers in US Central, and then you can choose a zone. Then from there, under machine type, you need to at least, this is going to determine the cost that you pay, basically. So you need to at least, for Scrapebox, Windows VPS and Scrapebox, you need to at least do dual core and 8 gigs. That's the minimum, I would say. But my preemptible server is 4 cores and 16 gigs, so I can do more intensive processing, basically. I can run more instances of scraping with something like that. But you can do this, and then you can always scale up, okay? So under boot disk, you're going to change this. This is the operating system, okay? Excuse me. You're going to change this to some variation of a Windows server. And you'll see under these various Windows servers, you'll see with desktop experience. So you want to make sure that whatever server you choose, it's with desktop experience. So I recommend just choosing the newest one, Server 2019 Desktop Experience. I checked the prices recently, and they were all basically the same. Then under boot disk type, you can do SSD or standard. So this has to do with the type of hard drive and the upload download rate of that hard drive. So SSD is superior, but it's going to be a little more expensive. I'm not sure how much more expensive it is. But I recommend doing SSD. And if you don't want to do that and you want to save some money, you're welcome to do standard. One of the instances that I have now is on a standard disk, just because I forgot to set that in that instance. And so that's what I got. So yeah, once you've selected Windows Server with desktop experience, you're going to click select. Okay, or actually, I should actually do that real quick so you can see the cost. Where is it? So right now, dual core, 8 gigs of RAM or so, it's about $50 a month. When we select our operating system, the price is going to significantly change. Let me do a desktop experience. So let's do SSD 50. So you see 115. Here, let's actually check standard real quick. Standard. So that was only $6 a month difference. So you might as well just do SSD unless you really want to save that $6 a month. But okay, SSD 50 gigs. I recommend 50 gigs because you're going to want to be able to store some, large scraping files on that drive. And then you can have them upload to some sort of cloud, account later if you want. After that, you don't need to mess with this unless you need the server to have access to your cloud APIs. Then you can mess with it. You're gonna want to click on management, security risks, all this business drop down. Under disks, you want to uncheck delete boot disk when instance is deleted, because the instance is actually the virtual private server's hardware, so it's the CPU and the RAM. It's not the boot disk. So you don't want it to delete the boot disk in this case when the instance is deleted, because that way you can still have your operating system, your hard drive basically, but you can connect it to new hardware if you decide you want to have more power or less power. Okay, so I recommend unchecking that option. And then down here under management, so when you're under the management tab, you'll see preemptibility. So right now the server costs $115 a month. And the reason the price went up when we selected Windows Server is because we're using their images. And from what I understand, I guess they're paying Microsoft and they're probably making some money from it. Unfortunately, there's no way around it. You can't upload your own image onto their servers, to my knowledge. I could be mistaken, but I looked into it years ago and there didn't seem to be a way to do that. Also, one way to get around this is you can do a Linux server, and then you can do a VPS, like through VirtualBox, for example. You can or something like that, of Windows inside of the Linux operating system. So you can pay. That's an option. It's not something I've ever messed with. I'm just aware that it's possible. So if you want to look into that, you're welcome to look into that. Okay. I just do this because with preemptible servers, I can only activate it when I want to activate it. As you can see, a preemptible VM costs much less, but only lasts 24 hours. It can be terminated sooner due to system demands. So yeah, this has something to do with, you click learn more here, it has something to do with server resources, and server resources that are not being utilized but have been paid for, what I assume. And so you can make it preemptible, but it only lasts 24 hours. And as you can see at 115, you turn this on and it drops down to 80. So dual core, 8 gigs of RAM, let's whip the calculator out. If we do 8150 divided by 30, then every 24 hours you activate the server, you're only paying $2.72 or so. Okay, so it's a lot better in that you can, if you activate the server 10 times a month, then you're actually paying a lot less than if you're just paying for the server 24/7, 30 days, over 30 days, and you're paying every 30 days, right? But the server is running 24/7. So it's a pretty cool thing. When you go up to 4 cores, it pretty much jumps up to $5. Basically, you're paying $5 per day that you're running the server. And so that's kind of what I do. And it's a lot cheaper. And, if I run it 10 times, then it's basically like I'm paying for, a $50 a month VPS. The difference is you're going to have a hard time finding places to, unless the industry has changed and people have found out how to be cheaper and things like that. But paying, $50 a month for 4 CPUs and 15 gigs of RAM, that's a lot of power, and you're in Google Cloud, so you've got a higher level of security, and you've also got, at least I would assume, right? You've also got a really easy setup. Okay, so you're coming in, you're naming it, you're setting your region here, you're setting the amount of power you want, you're setting it to Windows Server with desktop experience, right? You're coming in here, you're making sure that under disks, delete boot disk when instance is deleted is unchecked. You're going to management. Oh, here it is. And you're turning on preemptibility. Once you do that, you click create, and you're pretty much done creating the instance. I click cancel here because I've already got an instance running. That's pretty much the exact same. Okay. So here's my instance 1, and all I do when I want to get this going, let's refresh this page, because I was going to do this video yesterday, but I activated my instance and I didn't get a chance to come back to it. Okay, it's a little bit slow. I wonder if I can close. I don't really have any tabs I can close right now. There are two of these. Oh, okay. So when I want to activate my instance, I just click on this and I click start, and it'll tell me I'll be billed for this. So it'll be about $5. So as you can see, it's starting this instance. This is going to query for about 60 seconds. So give me just one moment here. Okay, so that was pretty quick. And you can see it's ready to go, checked. And what I do is I set the password. Where is it? Here we go. Set Windows password. I change the password every time. For you can do it a different username, but I guess that's my username there. So it'll automatically generate something, and then I'll just copy it real quick. And if anything goes wrong, you can always just do this over again. So I'm gonna copy this to clipboard, close this, and then I don't want to click on this because it will open up remote desktop connection via Google Cloud's sort of web browser, and that's a lot slower. Anytime you have an opportunity to use something like this in the cloud, like on a browser, it's not ideal because it's slower. And so I want to click on this drop down and download the Rdp file. And so as you can see, I'm in my VM folder. I'm just gonna click this here, instance 1 RDP, and save. I just save over the RDP every single time. And then I'm going to click this RDP, click this drop down to show details. I want to uncheck the clipboard and the printer. The printer doesn't really matter so much, but the clipboard in particular, okay? So allow the remote computer to access the following resources from my computer. We don't want to access the clipboard from my computer, from our computer. We want it to access the clipboard from the server. And so that's really important for the way that I run these macros, okay? And I'm going to do don't ask me again for connections to this. Connect. It's going to give me some other things. Let me paste the password here and see more choices. Okay. Click OK. And then don't ask me again for connections to this computer. Click yes. Certificates, trust, whatever. Okay. And so it's logging us into our Windows VPS server. And as you can see, I mean, it's really fast. That's one thing I like about Google Cloud. It's really fast to get things going, and you don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops like with other services where you're ordering some service and then you're waiting to get information from them, and it's generally fast, I would say, in other places, but I mean, it's just really fast with Google Cloud, And once you have a hard drive created, a boot disk, then your instance of that, all the stuff you have on there is pretty much preserved, so you can use it with other VPS. Let's minimize this, with other virtual machine instances. Let me think here. So one thing I recommend doing is installing Firefox. I like to use Firefox for these kinds of purposes, and having it not save history and go in incognito mode and things like that. So I like to use Firefox instead of Internet Explorer. And then obviously you need your own independent Scrapebox license for the VPS. If you contact support, they will typically give you a better deal on a second Scrapebox PC license. So I have two licenses. I have one on my PC and I have one on this VPS server. And so that license is actually tied to this boot disk. Okay, so Scrapebox installed, right, with its own dedicated license for the VPS, right? And then you're going to want to install Pullover's Macro Creator. And that's basically it. You just need pullovers macro creator. You need probably some sort of folder or a list of cities like this file here. Now, I'm going to conclude this video because this was just going to be about getting the server set up. So check out the next video where I'm going to actually go into building a script. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.